The story begins by depicting the time when the United States and the Soviet Union were engaged in a war. Both countries wanted to completely eliminate each other, but rumors started spreading that the Soviet Union had built numerous nuclear bombs and planned to drop them on the United States. They aimed to eradicate the entire population of the United States with these nuclear bombs. This caused great fear among American citizens, prompting them to find ways to survive a nuclear blast. Many people began building bunkers underground, believing that when the Soviet Union initiated a nuclear attack, they could stay safe in the bunkers. The story introduces a scientist named Calvin who had constructed a large bunker inside his home, specifically to use during an attack. This bunker contained all the necessary survival supplies. Calvin had built it to protect his family during emergencies. Calvin's wife, Helen, was pregnant, so in celebration, he invited all his relatives and friends to a party. While everyone was enjoying themselves, the American president conducted an interview, discussing the different plans being carried out by Soviet soldiers. He also mentioned that they would certainly retaliate. This news greatly frightened Calvin. Calvin interpreted all these events as a sign that the Soviet Union was about to drop nuclear bombs on the United States very soon. Alarmed, he hurriedly sent all his guests out of the house and prepared to take his pregnant wife into the bunker where they would be safe from the effects of a nuclear bomb. As an American military jet flew overhead, following its daily routine, it suddenly experienced technical difficulties and went out of control, descending towards the city. The American pilot managed to eject from the jet, but the fighter jet crashed directly onto Calvin's house and exploded. When Calvin sensed the destruction at his home, he quickly took his pregnant wife into the bunker and sealed all the doors. He believed the Soviet Union had started a nuclear war, so he activated the locks on the bunker doors, ensuring they could not be opened manually. Calvin explained to his wife Helen that the doors were designed to automatically open only after 20 years, as by then, the effects of the nuclear bomb would have dissipated. This meant that Calvin and Helen would have to spend the next 20 years in the bunker. Suddenly, shortly after they entered the bunker, Helen went into labor and was about to give birth to their first child. Calvin supported his wife during her pregnancy and soon, Helen gave birth to a healthy baby boy. Calvin was overjoyed with the birth of their son, whom they named Adam. Calvin and Helen started raising their son Adam in the bunker. Calvin continued to live in the bunker with his wife and son. As Adam grew up, reaching the age of 8, Calvin taught him various games and activities, allowing him to experience different things. Helen would dance with Calvin and teach him about their culture. Calvin hoped that after they passed away, Adam would carry on their culture and advance their world. Calvin continued to believe that a nuclear war was ongoing outside the bunker, which had caused the extinction of humanity. He, Helen, and Adam performed various activities inside the bunker. Calvin had ensured they had all the necessary food supplies, games, fishing equipment, and other resources to spend the full 20 years in the bunker. Time passed, and the story shows what happened just above the bunker. On top of Calvin's destroyed house, a new company opened a restaurant. The area eventually developed restaurants and night bars. However, Calvin and his family inside the bunker had no idea about the changes happening above ground. Adam is celebrating his 19th birthday, having spent his entire life inside the bunker. He has always wanted to leave the bunker and experience the real world. Calvin tells his wife and son that only 1 year remains until they can leave the bunker. As the time approaches for them to exit the bunker, the door automatically opens after 20 years. Calvin decides to go up first to check if there is still radiation present. He puts on a full suit and carefully makes his way up. He discovers that his home has been converted into a dilapidated nightclub, with a few drunk people lying around. One man faints upon seeing Calvin emerge from the bunker. Calvin explores the outside area to see if it is suitable for them to live in. He finds the place has changed drastically over the years. Some people even take out guns and fire at him. Calvin also encounters people whose fashion sense has evolved significantly. Frightened by all these changes, Calvin returns to the bunker and informs his wife and son that the outside world has good oxygen levels and no traces of radiation. However, he warns that the behavior of the people outside has become very aggressive. Helen tries to convince Calvin that their son cannot spend his entire life in the bunker. She explains that Adam needs to connect with the earth and nature for his well-being. While discussing these matters, Calvin suddenly suffers a heart attack and collapses. Helen realizes that their food supply is running low after 20 years, so she explains to Adam that they must go outside to obtain food and medicine. She gives Adam a list of items to buy. Before Adam leaves, Calvin warns him not to go near the video gallery, as it has high radiation levels. Adam steps out of the bunker for the first time and encounters a poor man who is frightened by his appearance, thinking that someone has emerged from underground. Ignoring these reactions, Adam continues his journey, experiencing the outside world for the first time. He is fascinated by everything he sees and is happy to explore. Some people think Adam is behaving strangely and assume he is mad, but Adam feels free and knows he can live his life as he wishes.